Two people get the same 1,000, same amount, same moment, same opportunity. But one of them feels pressure immediately. The other feels possibility. One thinks, this isn't enough, I could lose this. The other thinks, this is a starting point. And that difference looks small, almost invisible. But over time, it compounds into completely different lives. Because money decisions are rarely about math. They are about perception. Scarcity mindset is not about how much you have. It's about how your brain reacts to what you have. It tells you resources are limited, fragile, and always at risk. So you start playing defense, even when you should be playing offense. Abundance mindset doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you refuse to let fear define your strategy. It shifts your focus from, how do I avoid losing, to, how do I position myself to gain? And this is where the data gets interesting, because scarcity literally changes how people think. When people feel financially constrained, their attention narrows. They focus intensely on immediate problems and ignore long-term consequences. It's like trying to solve life while looking through a keyhole. You see something, but not enough. This is why someone might take a high-interest loan to solve a short-term issue, even if it creates a bigger problem later. The decision feels rational in the moment, but only because the frame is too small. Scarcity doesn't just influence what you choose, it influences what you even consider. Opportunities that require patience start to feel unrealistic, and anything uncertain starts to feel dangerous. Now, flip the frame. Abundance expands your field of vision. You start thinking in probabilities instead of fear, in systems instead of moments. Instead of reacting to every market movement, you step back and ask what actually matters. Because abundance thinking stretches time, and when time expands, better decisions appear. This is why great investors don't just have better strategies. They have better emotional positioning. They don't panic when prices fall. They don't chase when prices rise. Because they're not reacting to the moment. They're executing a framework. And this is the real divide. Scarcity reacts. Abundance decides. One lives inside the noise. The other operates above it. Let's bring this into real investing behavior. Because this is where the gap becomes expensive. A scarcity-driven investor watches the market like a threat. Every drop feels like danger. Every headline feels urgent. So when prices fall, they sell to stop the pain. And when prices rise, they buy to avoid missing out. Buy high, sell low. Not because they don't know better, but because scarcity hijacks timing. Now look at the abundance-driven investor. Same market, same volatility, different interpretation. When prices fall, they don't see loss first. They see potential mispricing. When prices rise, they don't chase blindly. They evaluate whether the fundamentals still make sense. Because abundance creates distance between stimulus and reaction, and that distance is where good decisions live. Scarcity collapses that distance. Everything becomes immediate. And when everything feels immediate, you stop thinking in systems. You start thinking in impulses. Clicks, trades, quick fixes. This is why some people stay stuck financially for years. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack space. Space to think. Space to wait. Space to let decisions play out over time. Because wealth is rarely built instantly. It's built through compounding. And compounding requires patience. Scarcity interrupts compounding because it constantly resets the game. Selling too early, switching too often, starting over again and again, never letting anything grow long enough. Abundance protects compounding because it trusts the process. It understands that short-term discomfort is often the price of long-term gain. And this is where identity comes in. Because mindset is not just thoughts, it's who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who never has enough, you will always act like you're about to lose everything. But if you see yourself as someone who can create value, you start playing a completely different game. Because abundance is not about having more. It's about believing you can generate more. And that belief changes risk. It changes patience. It changes how you respond to failure. Instead of stopping, you adapt. Instead of fearing loss, you extract information from it. So the real question isn't how much money you have today. It's what mindset is controlling your decisions. Because one will keep you stuck in cycles, and the other will quietly compound your life. Same income, same opportunities, different lens, different outcome. So next time you feel pressure around money, pause before you act. Ask yourself one question. Am I reacting or am I deciding? Because that single moment of awareness is where the shift begins. And over time, that shift can change everything. Not just your money, but how you play the entire game.